Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Danny Dumas, and this is the Earn Your Title podcast, and I have got a good one for you. This episode started after a conversation I had with my wife. We were laying down, and she was kind of tossing and turning, and she said, man, I would love just to be able to close my eyes and go to sleep. And I said, what do you mean? She said, I worry about things every single night. I'm like, what do you worry about? She's like, sometimes it's like, I didn't get the kids lunch made. Sometimes it's, parents, and sometimes I'm afraid I'm not going to wake up. And that kind of took me back a little bit. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, sometimes I'm worried that if I fall asleep, I'll not wake up and I'll die. And while I understand that is a possibility, she's not that old. And it kind of opened my eyes to some of the worry and the anxiety that's in the life of my wife that I don't have. Like when I go to sleep, 90% of the time, maybe 98% of the time, I might think about what I have to do the next day, and then I close my eyes and go to sleep. And it's very peaceful, and I enjoy it. Sometimes I think she doesn't enjoy the laying down process because there's that quietness, and her brain is just on fire, right? It's just going and going and going. And so it made me curious, is my wife different? Is she similar to other women? So I got on Facebook, and I asked the question, what gives you anxiety or causes you stress that you don't think the man in your life would understand? And wow, the amount of responses I've got and the varying degree of different types of things that these ladies that are in our lives, these women that we love, that they're worried about on a constant basis, it blew my mind. Like it was a lot. Overwhelm is not the right word, but just the variety of the things that caused anxiety or stress or worry was intense. And so I realized, I wish I could do something about it. So I've been thinking quite a while, what as men, as husbands, as fathers, what could we do to help them with that? So the first thing that I realized is that there's different categories of worry and concern. And some of them we can actually help, I think, and some of them we can't. So I'm going to talk about one that we can. And this was mentioned the least. And I'm going to categorize this as a safety help or a safety anxiety. And I don't think anybody actually said, I'm worried a bad guy's going to break into my house, but they said things like, paying the bills and, having this and, it's the resources, it's our ability to provide safety. That could be financially, emotionally, physically. And so as men, I think we can do things that will help the safety side. And one of those things could be on the physical side of you being the one that is aware of what is going around in your surroundings. So if you're going to the mall with your family, you're not burying your head in the sand. You're not burying your head in your phone. You're walking around and you're addressing and looking at the threats that could be around. You are walking maybe just a step behind your family so you can see everything that's out in front of them. You're keeping track. You are making note of where the exits are. If you go to a movie with your family, you're looking, hey, there's an exit in front of here. When you're going to the restaurant, you're sitting with your back towards the wall so you can see everything. And then I think letting your wife know, letting your kids know that, hey, I've got you. I am paying attention. If you're out there shopping and you're with your family and maybe you really don't enjoy shopping, you wish you weren't there, this is that time to give them your peace of mind by watching the kids, making sure they're not running out into the mall, taking off, keeping track of them. For lack of a better word, you're babysitting so that they can focus on the thing that brings them joy, shopping or whatever it is. That's something we can do. On the safety side, we can make sure that they're financially provided for. Having an emergency fund of, 3 months expenses in the account where they can see that takes the anxiety of, especially if your wife is not a breadwinner, if she is a stay-at-home mom, there's some anxiety there that you are providing everything. And if something happens to you, that she's going to be destitute and not be able to take care of her family. If you can erase some of those fears by having an emergency fund, by having life insurance, which we don't really want to talk about, but if you could replace 10 years of your income and that pay off your house and get rid of all these bills and that she'd still have money left over and could raise the kids and go get an education so she could get a job and be self-sufficient, that is a way we can reduce anxiety. That's a way we can reduce the stress. So I really ask you to analyze the places in your life and where you could just take some of that off the table. Provide a solution to the anxiety of, am I going to be safe? Am I going to be provided for? Now, the other category is things that I don't think we can do anything about. And I was going to go ahead and read the list of things that people were really worried, or ladies were worried about. But I think it'd be better if I told you a story. Now, this is a completely made up story, but it covers almost everything that they were worried about, all the multiple things. So you come home from work on a Friday and you get home, you say, hey, sweetheart, how's it going? She said, it's going good. How are the kids? She said, oh, they were loud and terrible. And I'm sorry, lunch or dinner is not ready. She has some anxiety because she was dealing with your kids, your naughty kids, right? And she didn't make dinner, and it's late. And she feels like, well, my mom, she always had dinner when my dad got home, and I'm not living up to the expectations of my mom. And that causes me anxiety that I'm not being the kind of woman that I should be. And, I'm kind of resentful because my mom holds that against me, and I haven't actually talked to my mom. And now I feel bad because I'm being a bad daughter and I haven't talked to my mom because I'm resentful because she makes me feel bad when the meal isn't ready. And so she's actually in kind of a bad mood when you get home and you realize you didn't do anything, but she has this anxiety and you don't know where it's coming from. As well, it's because she didn't have the meal. It leads, down the road. And in your head, you can't figure that out. So as you're eating dinner, you say, hey, my boss invited us over to dinner tomorrow. They're having a work get together at their house. I told them we could come. And she thinks instantly, I don't know what to wear. I don't know what to wear. I didn't get a chance to buy anything. I wish I had some time. I hate when things are sprung on me because I would have loved to have gone to the store and bought something new. So all night long, she's thinking, I don't know what to wear. Well, the next day rolls around and she finds something to wear and she puts it on. And then she realizes that she doesn't like the way she looks in it because she's on her period and she's bloated a little bit. And you say, she says to you, hey, how do I look? And you say, good. And then she thinks, oh, he didn't say great. Is it because I'm getting old? Is it because why wouldn't he say I look great? Is he thinking about younger women? Is he, and you really just meant you look good and you use the word good instead of great. And she has that anxiety because she doesn't like the way she feels because, the hormones are going and she didn't get to get something new, even though, and in your head, everything is good. You're going to go to a party. And on the way to the party, she starts thinking, I don't know anybody there. I'm going to be sitting there by myself and I'm not going to be able to talk to anybody. It's going to be miserable. I'm going to hate it because I don't know anybody. And you get to the party and you introduce her to some friends and people at work and they brought their wives and she actually meets people and she actually is starting to enjoy it. And they're talking about what you do for work and, what they do for work and their kids and all things going on. And as you're on your way home, you think it was a great time, great conversation, great food, great company. All was good. She got to meet people you've been talking about and it was great. You can't wait for the next one. And she's thinking, oh man, I just talked to your boss's wife and she was talking about a trip they went on. And I said, oh, wow. I didn't say, oh, wow, that's awesome. Maybe she thinks that I didn't like it. Maybe she thinks I wasn't interested. Maybe she's going to talk to your boss and that's going to make him feel weird about you. And because he does that, maybe you're not going to get the promotion and then we're not going to be able to get the house we've always wanted. And maybe you're going to get fired and it just rolls and rolls and rolls and gets bigger and bigger. And the whole time you think everything's okay. Everything's fine. And you get home and she's in a bad mood and you don't understand why. And maybe you get frustrated because she doesn't want to be intimate because she's stressed out and there's this chaos and you really don't know why. And I think what it comes down to, and I've been trying to understand like the female mind, which is, a mystery that no man shall ever understand. But I think what it comes down to, and I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. I haven't researched this heavily, but I've read a little bit and I have some insights. I think what it comes down to is women in general, in the role of like a community, in a family, they are the ones who are assigned to worry. And I thought about it. I'm like, if I could take away all the worry out of my wife's life, if I could just wave a wand and said she'll never have anxiety, never worry again, would that be a good thing? And I don't think it would, because I think that a man and a woman coming together in marriage as a husband and wife is the greatest like combo there ever was. And I think most men are supposed to be married and most women are supposed to be married because our life will be better. And that means that the things that I'm good at or the things that I'm bad at, she can be good at. And I am not a good worrier. I really don't worry about most things. And that's not always helpful because you need to have some thought and some anxiety or some worry about, health and future. And I'm just a day to day, like just go down the road. So I want my wife to have that. If you go back when we were, if this was 500 years ago and I'm going to go out hunting, I can't be worried about my kids, their safety because I'm going to be leaving, and it would cause me so much anxiety to have to worry about. So, but my wife is worried. Well, she's now going to be alone. So anything could be a threat to her. My wife is a physically smaller person than I am. She has worries about her physical needs and her protection and that of her kids, and that is her job. Now, I think what has happened is because of modern society, we've taken away some of those natural worries that they no longer have to worry about. Like the odds of someone breaking into my house are very, very, very thin, very thin. So that worry is not there. The worry about us going hungry because there's a drought and the crops didn't come in is not there. We don't live in that world, but the idea that they are the worriers, I think that's still there. And so they latch onto things that don't make sense. And this is really hard with guys. This is my advice for the things that don't make sense is just be okay with them not making sense. And this is, if there's any ladies listening, I apologize. But I had some of my guy friends, after I sent this Facebook post out, text me back and like, man, you really stirred that up. Like there was quite a bit. And in my head, and I said it to one, I'm like, yeah, I just kind of want to say, have you ever tried not worrying? Like that is my male reaction. Like just don't do it. Like I think your life would be better if you didn't worry about how you spoke to, your friend and how they took it. Just if you meant it as something nice, and then that's what it was, that you do look good in that dress. Cause I said it, I'm still picking you. I'm not going after the younger woman because I love and I'm committed to you. That's not something I'm worried about. The kids are going to be okay with Christmas if you didn't get them the greatest gifts in the world. Stop worrying. Like that's what I want to say. But I don't have that power. I don't have the ability to take that from my wife. I would like to. So what I have to do is just realize that there's going to be some things that they have worry and anxiety about that I cannot do anything about. I can't fix it. I can't do anything. It's not logical. It is not something that I have control over. So I'm not going to worry about it. And that's maybe our power. But it can be annoying. I totally understand how, especially if it puts your wife in a bad mood. Like she's like, I'm a little stressed about this, but it's just a statement. But when they get in a bad mood about it and it kind of affects the family, it is annoying. And I'm not going to say it's not, but I can't do anything about that. So I just have to let that be, right? It's when your wife is on her period and she's not the most patient person, she's not the kindest person, I realize that that's not the person I married. That's her having some problems at this, brief period of time, and it's going to get better because it always does. And I just have to be okay with it. I remember, I have 3 sisters and me and my dad were the only guys in the house. And man, there was some days where we just had to walk away. Like, we're just going to get away. And that's okay. Maybe that's the time to, go for the long run, take her kids out to the park, let her have some time alone. But just realize there's some things in their life that you cannot fix. So we have the safety issues. We can help some of that. We have some things that, lack of a better word, sometimes they're going to be crazy and we're not going to understand it from a guy's standpoint, right? Crazy for a guy's standpoint. I'm not calling them crazy, but that's how it seems to us because we can't process that. And the third one, and I really think we can do some good here, is the mental load. Multiple women mentioned, because the follow-up question was, thank you for all these responses. What could your husband do to help you? And a ton of them said, I wish he could take some of the mental load off of the tasks, of the worry, of some of these things. And this is a very important lesson, guys, very important. You need to figure out what stresses your wife out from a task standpoint. Is it making lunches? Is it dirty toilets? Is it the dishes not getting put away? Like, I know my wife really, really, really wants the dishes or the kitchen to be clean before she goes to bed. Like for me, after dinner, we clean up for the most part, and then I'm done. I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything. I want to watch TV, watch YouTube, hang out, talk, play some board games. I don't want to do anything. She has a hard time falling asleep if the house is kind of not put back together again. Figure out what that thing is for your wife and then do it. Now, I said afterward, I'm like, hey ladies, if I think I could help you because you have a list of things you want and you say that your husband's not doing it. One, it's not fair if we don't know. And I had lots of them say, I've told my husband multiple times, he still doesn't do it. So guys, if your wife has ever made a list of these are the things that, I need to get done, could you help? She doesn't mean one time. She means, could you do this forever? Now, the hard part is, and for some guys, my wife is very good about this. And because I try to put the laundry away. Like I fold the towels wrong, or at least I don't fold them like my wife, but I do it. I wash them, I dry them, I put them away. And she even said, you do it completely different than me, but I have to be okay with they're put away and that's good enough. Now, I understand some of you deal with a wife who can't do that yet, but what I'm asking you to do is continually try. Be proactive. And I think we kind of understand how they feel because there's something I think that happens to most guys that we wish would be different. But if your wife has ever given you a list of all these things, and this is even better, be proactive. Say, sweetheart, I know that you are a great mom. You're a great, whatever her job is. You do all this thing and you take care of us so well. Is there something that I could take off your plate that would help you? And when she says, yeah, I really, the dishes, the garbage, the vacuuming, do it every single day. Just take that off the table because we experience this the same way. And I think this will kind of bring it home. How many times in your relationship have you had to ask for intimacy? If the answer is most of the time, and you just wish one time, once a year, twice a year, once a quarter, that your wife would initiate that, that's what they feel like. Like you would just think, why is it always me? Why am I always having to say, hey, tonight, if you have that feeling, that's the same feeling they have. It's the exact same thing from a different something else that, they need something, we need something. So we're asking for it. Now, if you're not becoming intimate with your wife, you're not having sex with your wife because you're not asking, you should ask. It's important because they're just not thinking about it. And it's not really fair for your wife if you're frustrated because you don't have that and you're not asking. In the same way, I want to say to, the women out there, if you're not asking your husband for the help you need, but just go back, wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to ask? Wouldn't it be nice if you're not the one that initiated it most times? That is what they want. And do an experiment. Maybe if you can initiate the help they need, lower their stress levels, make their life a little bit simpler, it can go, maybe that makes its way into the bedroom. There's a lot of things that we can do. And it really, I understand we really don't know. Like to me, if there's, if the trash in the bathrooms are full, eventually I'll clean it out if I need. If it starts to fall over on the floor, I'll clean it up. But I don't need to do it when it's halfway. But for your wife, you should just know, like every Monday we need to do that, but we don't. So you have to make a list and actually be conscious about, I'm going to do this thing every day for the purpose of making my wife's life less stressful. Now realize, and this is the hard part, they might still have stress about things. They're going to, and they might not get the, and I know sometimes when I've, really worked hard, like maybe I had the whole day off and I spent the whole day cleaning and my wife walked in and she goes, oh, thank you. It looks nice. I kind of wanted did you spend all day long cleaning? Oh, look, there's lines from the vacuum in the floor and the dishes are clean. Did you wipe down the stainless steel? Man, all the water in the toilet is blue and cleaned and, Windex, the mirrors. I kind of want that. Like that would be really cool for her to get super excited. But if it just means that she does notice and maybe she gives me a little, oh, the house looks good, but that means she's less stressed, less tired, then I think life becomes better for both of us. And this is where, like being the man, and I've talked about this before, but being the man and like just kind of going out and just making things happen. And it could be little, like maybe it has nothing to do with tasks and chores. It's just making decisions. If your wife gets home or you get home and neither of you know what you want to eat and you decide to go out to eat, you decide. Start with, is there anything you don't want to eat? And when she says, no, there's nothing, pick something. Now, this is hard. When she goes, well, not that. Well, then you say something else. And she goes, oh, well, not that either. Try to suck that up a little bit and be manly about it. And just like, okay, just keep going down the list. And I know that's annoying because she said she didn't care, but she actually does care. But take those little decisions away. Go buy a birthday present for your kids. Take that off their plate. Be the man. Make some decisions. Take those little things away. And I think over the course of years, of months of doing that, you're going to improve your relationship. Life is going to be good. You know, you're going to get the things you need. She's going to get the things she needs. And that's what, successful relationships are. You know, it's meeting each other's needs. It's not a competition of who does more, who does less, but just go out and, make your marriage better. Take the anxiety away if you can. Realize that you can't read minds. So ask, what is it? And then if she tells you something, it's not like, please do it one time. She's asking you to take that off the table. Do it. Just take over that. And I think life will be good for you. If you're having a struggle in your marriage, if things are hard and you've trying to do this, but maybe your dad was terrible at it, you just really don't have an insight in how to do that, you need some accountability, please reach out to me. My email is danny@dannydumas.com. And I'm talking to a bunch of guys. We're creating plans. We're executing on those plans and we're learning. So let's learn together. I can't wait to hear from you. My name is Danny Dumas and this is the Earn Your Title podcast, and I will talk to you later. Bye.